Howdy, my name is Nonat, and I am late to the party, because these two new classes in the playtest have been out for like a full month, and the playtest feedback period is already over. Whoops! But that's not going to stop me from talking about them and sharing them with you, because y'all, the Battlecry class playtest changes the game? I don't say that liberally, I don't say every new class literally changes things, but if this is what we see in the full release and we don't get major changes, these classes are pushing the boundaries of tabletop RPGs as we know them, at the very least, from a big, well-established game level. You'll understand what I'm talking about in just a minute. This video is the first of 3. This one, as you can see, is very short. If I can do it right, it should only be about 10 to 12 minutes. That's because I'm just going to be giving you the bare bone basics of these two new classes, how they work, what their main features are, all that good stuff. And then I'll have 2 more videos coming out this week going over the Commander and the Guardian, both in heavy detail, going over every tactic, every feat, every class feature we have seen here in the playtest, because I still want to do it even though the playtest is over. So strap in, and if you're feeling generous, leave a like on the video and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss those other 2 huge videos coming out this week. And while you're down there, leave me a comment. I don't even care what you say. What'd you have for breakfast today? Drink enough water? I'm looking at you. So, let's start with the Commander. What is it? Well, it's an intelligence-based martial class. Yes, we have not seen this since the Investigator, and this is actually an intelligence-based tank. Commanders are built for the front line to be taking hits and aiding their allies at the same time. They've got amazing starting saving throws, and they can wear every single type of armor. So even though they're intelligence-based, they can wear heavy armor. Just remember, armors do still have a strength requirement, so having that strength score high enough to not take the penalties might be tough, with intelligence being your key ability score. They're called key attributes now. They're not called ability scores. They're called attributes. I will learn someday, I promise. Most of the Commander's abilities are all based off of their banner. This is actually a physical item that you can hold yourself, or, thankfully, attach to a shield or weapon so that you don't have to spend a whole extra hand just to keep your banner on your person. I'm actually surprised you can't attach it to your armor so that it's just worn on your body, since it doesn't really take up a hand anyway if it's on a shield or a weapon. But this banner basically gives off a 30-foot aura, very similar to the old martial archetype, and all allies in this aura gain a +1 status bonus to will save specifically against fear effects. Just a nice little passive aura that all commanders have, but most of their abilities will only apply to allies within that aura. What I really like is that they added a detriment if your banner gets stolen or destroyed. If somebody reaches up and rips your flag down and runs off with it, all allies who were currently being affected by your banner instantly become Frightened 1. No saving throw, nothing. It only lasts for 1 turn, because that's how Frightened works, but I love the idea that your allies have an instant reaction, a guttural fear to your team's banner being ripped down. Also super cool, it doesn't apply to you. Only your allies become Frightened 1, not the commander themselves. So, the Commander's big ability is their tactics. They start knowing 4 basic tactics and can prepare 2 of them per day. You actually prepare your tactics by drilling your allies, and you can drill a number of allies equal to 2 plus your intelligence modifier, and those allies become squad mates. Only squad mates can react to your tactics, so you can't use tactics to give NPCs extra actions or anything like that unless they also drilled with you during your daily preparations. This is just a way to keep the commander's abilities tight, while also giving them an excuse to make them a little more powerful, because you can only apply them to specific people. As you level up, specifically at levels 7, 15, and 19, you not only get to prepare 1 additional tactic per day, but you also learn new tactics from the Expert, Master, and Legendary Tactics list. We only have a couple Expert, Master, and Legendary tactics right now. Most of what we've seen are the basic tactics, but just trust me that as they get higher level, the tactics get infinitely stronger. It's wild. On top of that, perhaps the coolest Commander feature right at level 1 is drilled reactions. Once per round, you can choose one squad mate who gets a bonus reaction that round that can only be used to react to your tactics. These tactics, most of the time, will require your squad mates to spend their reactions to do them, but this will allow you to either A, give the same ally 2 tactics, or just let them respond to your tactic and still have access to reactive strike or something like that. You can play around a lot with team composition thanks to drilled reactions. They also get shield block. Commanders are meant to be on that front line, taking hits and giving people bonuses and tactics within 30 feet, so they want to be in there with the fighters and the barbarians and all those other melee classes. To start off, the basic tactics are exactly what's said on the tin. They're basic. They just give you some decent action economy. Striding as a reaction, stepping safely as a reaction, or even getting an extra attack at the cost of 2 of the commander's actions. Overall, the commander is going to be spending a lot of time issuing orders and not all that much time attacking on their own. Positioning is going to be very important, but overall, the commander is a cool class that just gives all of your allies bonus actions. Combine this with a bard who's also buffing those same allies, and you're going to have a crazy powerful team. Now, if you looked at the commander and thought, wow, that is too much going on, there's too many different class features and reactions and abilities and lists and tactics books and drilled, if that's way too much for you, consider checking out the Guardian, because for the first time in a while, Pathfinder 2e has received a very simple class, but simple does not mean weak. Oh my gods, the Guardian is a strength-based class with some decent starting proficiencies, including being trained in all armor. On top of that, they also begin the game with the specialization effect of medium and heavy armors. If you're unaware, armor specialization is something usually only reserved for very few classes at higher levels. For reference, the champion class doesn't gain armor specializations until level 7. And the Guardian gets it at level 1. Most of the time, this is going to be gaining a resistance to a specific type of damage, usually slashing, piercing, or bludgeoning, and it'll typically be 1 for medium armor and 2 for heavy armor. And at level 1, if you can find a set of heavy armor you can wear, being able to reduce incoming damage by 2 passively at level 1 is insane. Unless you're getting critically hit, creatures are only hitting you for maybe 7 to 10. That's like 20 to 30% damage reduction as a passive class feature. But that's not all. They also have Intercept Strike, which is similar to a champion reaction, except instead of reducing the damage your ally takes, you take the damage for them and then reduce it by 2 plus your level. Right at level 1, if someone's going to hit your ally, you can use your reaction, have them hit you instead, and reduce the damage by 3. Thank you, Mr. Motorcycle. That helped my explanation. Now, do keep in mind, resistances don't stack. So if you've got 2 resistance to bludgeoning from your armor specialization, and then you intercept strike, which gives you 3 resistance, you still only have a total of 3 resistance, because you take the highest one. But this is still nuts. If you can back off and protect your wizard and they get hit, you can just intercept it. It doesn't even have to be a melee attack. If an archer shoots at them, you can take the arrow for them. This is such a cool, unique class feature, and this is what I'm getting into when I said at the beginning of this video that these classes change the game. Because not only can you redirect attacks to yourself and reduce the damage, but you can also taunt. An official Pathfinder class can taunt. As a reaction, a creature within 30 feet of you makes a will save against your class DC. If they succeed, they take a -1 penalty to attack any of your allies. If they fail, it's -2. If they crit fail, it's -3 to all attack rolls and save DCs against your allies. The downside is that all of those attack rolls and DCs against you get a +2. So you become much easier to hit, but your allies become way harder to hit. And there's little bonuses that I almost hesitate to call a subclass, but they're called threat techniques that augment your taunt. And it's the closest thing to a subclass the Guardian has right now. And right now, I don't think they're super well balanced. The first one is Ferocious Vengeance, where if you taunt a target and they still attack an ally, your strikes against them deal 2 extra damage until the end of your next turn. It's fine, I guess, but I think what's way more important is Mitigate Harm. If you taunt a creature and they happen to critically hit you, which you did just give them a flat +2 circumstance bonus to hit you, that's a +2 to the chance to crit as well, you gain resistance against the critical hit. This is 2 plus half your level, increasing by 2 at levels 5, 11, and 15. Just being able to reduce damage from critical hits is so rare in this system, and it's fantastic. You're opening yourself up to get crit instead of them attacking your allies, and you can reduce the damage you take. It's not even like Intercept Strike. Intercept Strike you have to use on an ally being attacked to gain the damage reduction. Mitigate Harm is just always active as long as you have taunted a creature. Great damage reduction, great way to get enemies to focus on you, and Paizo's done this in a very classy way where it's not the enemy has to attack you. They are incentivized to attack you, and I think that is a brilliant way to do it. Oh, and by the way, I should mention that the Guardian gains expert proficiency in all armors at level 5. The Champion doesn't get that until level 7. The Guardian is legendary proficiency in all armors by level 15. This class is incredible. They have very few offensive gimmicks. Their offense is going to primarily just be melee strikes. They've got a few feats that can augment them, but for the most part, you are there to gather attention, say, hey, come hit me, bet you can't hit me, so that the rest of your team can just go in and do their thing. It's amazing. They even get a bonus reaction during initiative once they're level 7 and higher. At first I was like, wait a second, what's this reaction for? I looked at their feats, they don't have a whole lot of reaction-based feats, why would they need their reaction? And then I realized, it's because if you are last in initiative, you technically do not gain your first reaction in combat until the start of your first turn. But thanks to this class feature, even if you are last in initiative, as long as you are positioned next to your ally, if an enemy attacks them, you can use your reaction to intercept. Incredible design! That by level 7, you are ready to protect your allies the second you're rolling initiative. I think that's fantastic. There's more to talk about with the Guardian, especially in some of their feats. I'm a big fan of Tough Cookie, but you'll have to wait until Friday when I make my dedicated Guardian video, because for now, it's way too hot, and I have a Pathfinder game to get to myself. But I hope these explanations put the Commander and the Guardian in easily digestible forms for you to understand, and maybe get you thinking about a potential Commander or Guardian character to play in a campaign soon. But that's all for me. Thank you so much to all of the members of the No Nat Ones Patreon. If you would like to join this list of amazing people, click the link in the description and pledge for $10 a month to help me keep the lights on. It's very hot talking hard. Help keep the lights on and keep 5 videos a week pumping out for y'all. Thank you so much. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. And until next time, No Nat Ones.